Velocity, money, peace, and blessings. Hey, look, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to my channel. Make sure y'all ask niggas for readings. You know what I'm saying? A nigga such as Velocity Mooney. And actually, I will stop using that N word, right? I am not quote unquote blackie. I am definitely Irish and a Taiwanese descent, right? That's my racial background. So I need to lighten off the N words and respect people's cultures, right? So my apologies. But getting into the science, right? Fourth house, astrologically, what does the fourth house represent? You know, the fourth lord, the underlying signature of the fourth house, the underlying formula, whatever you want to call it. How do you identify the fourth house within life in general? Like, you just walking outside in public, you don't got no details or anything like that, and you can identify, somebody is doing this particular thing or is texting this particular way. And how do you identify, oh, you know what I'm saying, that's a fourth house theme, or that fourth lord might be in this particular place, yada yada yada, etc., right? I'm gonna pretty much generally touch on these different topics or whatever. It's definitely damn near impossible to cover in depth. It would take an extremely long video to do so again, I'm gonna just generally bounce around, touch on different topics, but my hope is to kind of give people the base or basic formula to identify fourth house, fourth lord astrologically. So get into it, right? So a good image or pictorial representation to keep in mind of the fourth house, even of the 10th house, but that axis period, the fourth and the 10th house, right? The first of all, the 10th is like, let's just take a tree, like a large tree, right? Like, or the Jack and the Beanstalk, situation or whatever, right? The beanstalk reaching all the way into the heavens, into the clouds, and all of that is just strong, it's just sturdy, or just a massive, magnificent tree. It got all the best fruits, giant fruits, and you know different vegetations and creatures, and it's just majestic, it's reaching into the universe, all that, right? The divine tree for Naruto, if you want to, right? just a very powerful, tall, magnificent, strong tree, right? So the external manifestation is the tree. You know what I'm saying? The pillar, right? The treetop or the mountaintop, right? That's the 10th house. You know what I'm saying? It took a lot of time for that tree to grow to that particular height, to be manifested in that much of a solid manner. You feel me? To accumulate those fruits, all of that, right? And the fourth house is the underlying root system in the underground, right? The depth of the roots, right? The intricacy of the root network, and the thickness of the roots, no diddy. How deep the roots actually situate themselves within the soil to ground and to anchor that tree, to bring stability to that tree, to bring a stable foundation, right? Because if you don't have a strong root system, the tree can't grow but so high, or the tree, you feel me, is like liable or likely to just collapse under its own weight or whatever, right? Or get blown over easily in a tornado or some shit, a windstorm or something, right? So it's like the fourth house is equally as important for the manifestation of success, right? The internal, underground, unseen foundation, stability, you know what I'm saying? The underground, right? The deep. That's equally important. The deeper the deep goes, the higher the high can go, right? And the deep, or the internal deep, is pretty much the fourth house. The different words that get added to the fourth house is like, home, and the heart. They say home is what a heart is. Home, heart, mother, nurturing, how you were nurtured or cultivated in childhood, security, emotional security. What else? Represents the family, ancestors. What else? They say the fourth house, properties, vehicles, acquisitions or whatever. And all of these are pretty much things that add to the security of the individual, right? Another picture of the fourth house is like pretty much like a baby in a I don't know, I just had a brain fart, but pretty much like a baby in I guess a baby calming environment, whatever that would be, right? Just an environment the baby feels like, I'm safe, I'm nurtured, I got the milk, you know what I'm saying? I got the milk bottle, I got the Paw Patrol figurine, you feel me? And I got the triangle block, and I'm trying to put the triangle block in a circle block, and it's not working, but this is what I want to do, right? It's pretty much like a sensitive being in a comfortable environment, and can pretty much let go of all the different possible emotional worries, concerns, and internal insecurities that a lot of people seem to carry, you know what I'm saying, throughout their day or whatnot, yada, 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 etc., etc. Comfortability. Fourth house is where you don't have to do no work, but everything that you need, everything that you need is provided to you, right? Everything is just naturally comes, gravitates, and kind of protects you. It's like, the mother. The mother provides everything that you need growing up, right? You don't have to want for anything. You barely have to ask for most things, right? If you have a great mother or a good mother, right? And it also translates on an emotional level too, like that emotional nourishment. You feel me? That emotional reinforcement. You know what I'm saying? That attentiveness, the mother or life or the environment, the attentiveness that it provided to the individual to reinforce, their emotional structure, their sense of beingness, and all of that, right? All of that, when it's properly given or applied to the individual, this pretty much makes a person who feels like, I'm strong, I'm stable, and I'm able, and can go out into the world and can pretty much accomplish whatever they set their mind to, right? So the deep foundation is definitely important for success. And you will often see, you know what I'm saying, like people look to 10th house so much for career and shit like that, which is cool. 10th definitely can show the career, but 4th is equally as important. You know what I'm saying? It really is. A lot of people, you can look at their careers and look at their 4th house, and a lot of time the 4th house is actually showing the career more than it's showing in the 10th, for real. But get into it, right? So what else about the 4th house? So excuse me, that is gross, but I don't even know if niggas heard that, but nah. Okay, so 4th house, it represents the heart, right? And it is one of the spiritual houses. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of the moksha triangle or whatnot, right? And with 4th house representing the heart, to get into meditative states, to really get into the peace that surpasses all understanding, right? That's a 4th house thing. To really get into the deep, the deep subconscious mind, or the heart mind, or you know what I'm saying, the deep internal mind structures of an individual. To really get into that, it takes the ability to go into a state of sitting, doing nothing, rest, comfortability. If it's always something on the surface of the mind, if it's always some type of worry or some type of effort that you feel like you need to exert, if it's always some type of struggle or some type of conquering, some type of external sojourn, or you feel me, some type of story, that's constantly playing. As the, you know what I'm saying, some type of motherfucking some type of data that's constantly getting processed or whatever, right? That can take a person out of the home, right? That can take a person out of the comfort. That can turn into the situation to where somebody, is working 16-hour shifts, 5, 6 days a week, and on their days off, they coaching a little league football team or some bullshit, and after that they trying to build excavators as a side project for whatever the fuck reason or whatever, right? That can turn into somebody who pretty much becomes a workaholic, trying to always occupy themselves with external activity, or even if it ain't that, a person doesn't even work. A person is in the home. A person that might, what I'm saying, a person don't even got a job or some shit, right? That could be somebody, you feel me, whose internal worries and instabilities and questionings of life and, what I'm saying, depressions and different things of that nature can kind of like constantly, like in a washing machine of some sort with dirty water, just constantly getting cycled and cycled and cycled and, recycled and whatnot. And it's like it can kind of like spiral into a turmoil of some sort. Oh, nigga don't got a job, put in an application for 7-Eleven, and niggas just laughed at you like 7-Eleven niggas is superior or something. That's crazy. If you put in an app at 7-Eleven and like niggas just respond to the application with a magnanimous laugh, like that'd be crazy. But anyway, right. So yeah, this can represent, and I've seen, some people like this or whatever, right? I've seen a lady who actually had Mars in the fourth house of Vishaka, right? Mars in the fourth house of Vishaka. Real individual who had a lot of internal shit and situations going on, but was for some reason just unable to put forth the proper self effort, to actually make something happen, to actually go acquire, the external situation or whatever. But basically, what I'm trying to say, I know I'm rambling at this point. Basically, what I'm trying to say, right? The fourth house is like afflicted, or if there's some shit going on with the fourth house, it can show on one end absence from the house, overworking the self, doing too much, burnout, inability to really, retreat, understand that rest is important, understand how to get things off the surface of the mind, understand, the importance of family, the importance of, what I'm saying, maybe a foot bath or, what I'm saying, nurturing or meditation or the soft arts and the soft sides of life. A lack of that particular understanding. And if it's afflicted in another way, it could represent somebody who's trapped within the house and is not comfortable. So this can lead to anxiety, depression, multiple types of states, you know what I'm saying? Yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So fourth lord can show what you naturally find comfort in. It can show what you naturally find security in, and it can show what would naturally be provided or manifested for you, right? So let's start with the sun, right? So a person can naturally find comfort in the sun archetype. So respect, fatherliness, uh, 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 maybe the father itself, or somebody who's like a father figure. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who has a son type of energy, who's able to, be that masculine figure who provides for the family, or who's able to transmit certain levels of knowledge, certain levels of knowing how to carry yourself and how to maneuver through society. Like son raises kids in a well manner. And son is like something for the kids to like idolize and to keep the kids in line as well, to keep the family structure in line or whatever. So sun is the fourth lord. It can show that type of figure can be manifested in the life process, and that this person really is finds comfort in reputation, sun themes of carrying the self in a high manner, respect, uh, maybe even governance or politics, or being the son or the man of the family themselves, yada yada yada, etc., etc. In a nutshell, right? Uh, Moon as the fourth house. Moon is the fourth house, or moon in the fourth lord or whatnot. This can show that a person, you feel me, can likely be catered to, can find comfort in the mother, can find comfort in motherly figures, you know what I'm saying? Women, softer figures, people who are more nurturing, who are more caring and whatnot, can find comfort in different practices like gardening or, moon-like activities, music, wine, you know what I'm saying? Can inherit certain things too. You know what I'm saying? Moon and sun, they naturally gain a lot of inheritance. You'll find comfort in the intuitive knowledge, or even learning, because moon is a great learner. Like, moon is the natural father of Mercury from a Vedic perspective, right? And Mercury is very discerning. Mercury is intellect, right? Mercury is able to discriminate. He's a fast learner. But Moon is an even faster learner. Like, Moon, it learns faster because it's able to just purely absorb and soak knowledge like a sponge. It doesn't really need to connect dots, or for something to make sense to the logical mind. Moon can just directly absorb information without doing any particular work, right? So fourth lord is moon, fourth lord or fourth house moon or whatever. It can show individuals who have a great level of depth in regards to their intuitive knowledge, in regards to their knowledge, based period. And an ability to, especially if the moon is strong, an ability to, really rest internally, and also be like a mothering energy, or like a paternal or protective energy to others that's around them as well, like calming. Like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody who's very gifted with psychology, or, therapeutic services and things of that nature, medicines. It's a wide array of words, practices, and disciplines that can be attached to this. But again, I'm just going off the head. I'm just freestyling, so I might be skipping over a lot. But this is just a general breakdown of moon as fourth house lord, or in the fourth house, right? And again, it's different complexities to it. It's like, what's aspecting the moon? Is the moon strong? Is the moon afflicted? It'll turn out how it turns out depending upon all that, right? So, yeah. Mercury. Mercury as the fourth lord. This is somebody who can naturally find comfort or find security in their intellectual capacity, right? So this can naturally be somebody who's a studious individual, who's a reader, or who's a writer, or, who deals with, data allocation, or, the processing, the constructing, the engineering, the understanding of different systems of some sort. Maybe comedy, different mercurial things, you know what I'm saying? Cleaning, health services, Mercury deals with medicine as well. Remedies, law, litigation, contract situations, or whatever, making sure they're on point too. Like, this can represent somebody who you know really likes to be on point in regards to the intellect, or can have a natural intellect. You know what I'm saying? The ease of intellect. They didn't really have to do too much of studying, but they study a lot because they genuinely like to. They genuinely like to accumulate and acquire informations or whatnot, right? You know what I'm saying? Fourth lord is Mercury, can be seen as that. You know what I'm saying? Very clear communicators they might be, right? You know what I'm saying? Very big word niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas who know all the big word complexities, and who know all the different stipulations of law and shit like that. Mercury's fourth lord is very clear minded and whatnot. But the thing about Mercury is fourth lord. This is a challenging position for Mercury, because Mercury is surface. Mercury is cerebral. Mercury is lightheaded. It's fast. You know what I'm saying? It's constantly engaged in activity. And fourth house, it calls for silence. It calls for stillness. It calls for, stop trying to compare, contrast, analyze, pick data points and shit like this. So Mercury can have quite a problem, trying to do the sitting or the stillness of the fourth house or whatever, right? Like Mercury individuals, like fourth house Mercury, dependent upon its strength or its dependent upon its strength and its weakness, right? It depends. This can show somebody who got a real clean motherfucking house. You know what I'm saying? Especially if Mercury is sharply placed with no bad aspects. Like it can show somebody who's always working in the home, working from home, all like busy in the home space. You know what I'm saying? Not really comfortable, but can be comfortable when it comes to actually having a certain structure or actually having a certain set pattern or whatever. But what else? Not actually resting. You feel me? Or it can show somebody like if it's like Mercury in the fourth house of Pisces, it's more so of an internal entrapment type situation and a disorganization from an external perspective. So it's like again, it's one of them situations somebody can, not necessarily have the effort ability to organize the home environment, or not even just the home environment, their heart, their mind or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or, do the deeper level meditations or whatever, and can just be, dealing with shit on that frontier. And again, it gets more complex than that. It's just a general assessment. Venus as the fourth lord. This can show somebody that finds comfort in, beauty, pleasure, consumption, feeling good, right? Artistic expression, music, dancing, media. You know what I'm saying? Just being appreciated for their abilities to satisfy their ability of elegance. They might have a bit of sophistication to them. Very artistic individuals can be manifesting with Venus as the fourth lord. It kind of lines up. Venus finds directional strength in the fourth house. So, you know what I'm saying? This will show somebody. It's kind of a boon because it's like this will show somebody who finds comfort in something they actually like doing. And in something that is actually profitable. Right? And that they're natural at. That all kind of compounds together. Venus, again, I probably didn't say it in this video, but Venus, it's like a masculine moon. It's moon with action. Moon just likes to receive, but Venus, it gives and it takes. Venus knows how to please, and Venus knows how to be pleased and whatnot, right? So it's like that two-way and whatnot. So when Venus comes as the fourth lord, it's like it knows how to not only attract, but to also put out to the universe what needs to be put out in order to attract and receive and be reciprocated, right? If that makes sense. So, Venus in the fourth, it can lead to a lot of money, not even just money or not even just resource, but a lot of style, a lot of decoration, a lot of beauty in the experience of life itself or whatever, right? A lot of acquisition, right? So what else? I did Venus, Mars as the fourth lord, fourth house. You know what I'm saying? Mars doesn't necessarily like to be here, right? Or it doesn't necessarily like to rule the affairs of here. Mars is a fighter. Mars is always active. Mars is always trying to attack or kill something. And it's like you putting a warrior in charge of the rest front. You know what I'm saying? Do nothing, relax, kick your shoes up. You know what I'm saying? You ain't beefing with nobody. It's time for stillness. It's time for refuge. It's time for meditation. It's time for the family. All the soft shit or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Mars is angry. Mars wants smoke. Mars wants problems or whatever. So this can show somebody who might actually find comfort, or who might actually, find security in being the Martian figure, engaging in a toxicity, engaging in, it depends upon which house is Lord in too, right? If it's Aries or if it's Scorpio. But either house is going to show somebody who can kind of find comfort in, the Martian archetypes of domination, conquering, acquisition, and whatnot, right? Battling. It can be healthy. It could be something that's, not too detrimental or too crazy, but it can also lead to some other shit as well. It really depends upon the configuration of an individual's chart. But yeah, Mars is fourth lord. Mars in the fourth house. It definitely can represent somebody who has a good degree of psychological angst. Might have been abused themselves, to be honest, right? Might have been mistreated, might have dealt with situations as to where they were wounded, wrongfully so. And it can be quite hard to really get out of the mind space, to get out of the heart space, so they can carry somewhat of anger or a resentment that they might not even understand throughout the life process, and try to they might try to fight their way to healing or fight their way to the objective of the fourth house, but that's impossible. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about fighting. Okay, so Jupiter is the fourth lord, or Jupiter in the fourth house. This can be somebody who has a deep comfort or a deep appreciation for systems of wisdom. Spirituality, philosophical exploration. Different bases of knowledge that leads one away from illusion or encumberment, or being attached and engrossed within the world plane and whatnot, right? The different scriptural studies and ancient knowledge, and the different yoga systems and yada yada yada, etc., etc. It can represent somebody who's comfortable in the sage like Jupiterian aspects and archetypes. You feel me? It could represent somebody who finds comfort in traveling or venturing, or who finds comfort in getting their faith tested, or exemplifying that Jupiterian archetype and whatnot, right? I'm trying to think of a celebrity, but I'm gonna go through a couple celebrity charts after I'm finished this video too, or towards the end of this video as well. But let me go ahead and wrap this shit up. So Saturn as the fourth lord, or Saturn in the fourth house. This can show somebody who's, really comfortable in business, really comfortable in getting down to the foundational business, like putting that work in, understanding, comfortable in taking the truest path, the most secure, concrete path. Seclusion, because Saturn can represent seclusion, isolation. You know what I'm saying? Being humble, exemplifying Saturnian archetypes. So being humble, you feel me? Being, I guess you could say, shy, being more, you could say timid, or you could say, restrictive of their self, being more cautious, being more treadful, or, treading lightly, because you don't want certain obstacles or certain things to manifest, and consequences to take place. Somebody who can be comfortable, or who can know how to endure, rather, situations that might naturally touch on discomforts. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna show somebody who has a tough skin, you feel me, or who had to build, or who had to, kind of like grow tough skin. You know what I'm saying? Saturn in the fourth house and whatnot, right? Saturn in the fourth house, Saturn as the fourth lord. You can show somebody who might have dealt with rejection in the childhood, So somebody who might have, felt a degree of disownment from the family or by the elders or, the parents or something like that. And somebody who over time has probably really had to do deep level psychological investigations and work, maybe breath work, maybe meditation, maybe want to approach, healing their inner child and that inner self from a more scientific, more structured, and a more realistic manner, right? Which can work out for the individual. But let me get to some charts, some example charts to show how the fourth lord itself can function. All right, so this is Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm saying? Birth chart. Yeah, Dave Chappelle right there. As you can see, he has fourth house Sagittarius. Fourth lord is Jupiter, retrograde in the fifth house, debilitated, and Rahu is in the fourth house, right? So he got a lot going on. So just looking at the fourth house, tuning everything else out or whatever. Fourth lord is debilitated in Capricorn, but it is retrograde, which adds a different effect to the debilitation, right? You know what I'm saying? And Rahu was in the fourth. So starting off with Rahu in the fourth, Rahu likes the fourth. You know what I'm saying? There's some ancient scriptures that say Rahu, it does well in the fourth. And to be honest, my conclusion is because Rahu gives a lot of effort. Rahu has a lot of desire. But you don't have to do any work in the fourth house. You know what I'm saying? The fruit, the sukha, you know what I'm saying? The sweet, the taste, the enjoyment, it's already there. So it's pretty much a greedy guy that's in a house full of food or whatever, right? And sweet food. You feel me? The greed kind of dies down because you have an abundance, you have a surplus. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got a surplus of fucking, money naturally and resource naturally at least, you know what I'm saying? That should take away some of the criminalities or the rougher malefic aspects of Rahu because niggas is already eating. Doesn't apply to everybody, but it's naturally. But overall, Rahu finds pleasure in the fourth house. You know what I'm saying? It can showcase. You know what I'm saying? Enjoyments of the mother. Enjoyments of the home. Things of this different nature. Now his fourth lord is debilitated, right? But it's retrograde and it's in Capricorn. So fourth lord being Jupiter in Capricorn, it can show that his mother, and my man, that would be like, a mom that is like real professional or real by the book or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's Jupiter. So Jupiter is benevolent. Jupiter is the guru. Jupiter coaches and gives instruction, but it gives it in a graceful manner. So a person, Jupiterian people, you're grateful. You're naturally grateful. You're naturally kind of emotionally attached or more secure with Jupiterian types of people or whatever. So, and with it being retrograde, kind of like culling the debilitation effect a bit, and it being in the fifth house too. Like fourth lord in the fifth house, fourth lord second from himself, retrograde. This can show that, his mother being represented by the fourth lord could have been a professional, could have been into some type of knowledge or spirituality type thing, but it's Capricorn, so it's definitely going to lean more towards the professional aspect. And I looked it up in 1 second. You know what I'm saying? It says, yes, Yvonne, it was his doctor, Yvonne, and she was a doctor and she exceptionally accomplished, professional, academic, trailblazer. Her career spanned international diplomacy, which would be a fact of the fifth house as well. Diplomacy, statesmanship, governance, you know what I'm saying? Dealing in administration, those are all fifth house archetypes, you know what I'm saying? And higher education and religious leadership, like I was saying, like, you feel me? So the fourth lord is Jupiter. You know what I'm saying? It's dealing with that religious archetype. It's retrograde, so it's applying more power and presence within his chart. But pretty much the combination of all those factors, fourth lord being Jupiter in the fifth, debilitated retrograde, You know what I'm saying? It's showing the fifth from diplomacy, high level government administration. It's showing Jupiter from higher education, religious leadership, and it's showing the Capricorn or the debilitated aspect from the, super professional, super academic. Uh, she was into the racial work too. I'm gonna read through this bitch bio a little bit. She ain't the bitch, my fault. But she served as an administrative officer for the High Commission of the England. I ain't reading all that shit. I'm doing the astrology fucking video. But y'all, y'all get the, you know what I'm saying, the basics or whatever of showing the fourth floor through the mother, and it doesn't really stop there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it shows the foundation that he was provided in the childhood, like, you know what I'm saying, the foundation of emotional security, the foundation of mental depth, the foundation of peace, the foundation of stability that led him to be the successful top level comedian professional nigga that he is today. Like I looked it up earlier, and it says did he have a deep connection with his mom? It says he had an incredibly deep foundational connection with his mother. The motherfucker probably was listening to me because I ain't even say foundational. Like, but nah, he frequently attributes his wisdom, his confidence, and artistic purpose directly to her parenting and guidance. Their relationship has shaped his career and life in several profound ways. The greatness whisperer. You know what I'm saying? That's literally something that could be attributed to Jupiter. In a deeply personal interview, Chappelle affectionately gave his mother this title. He explains that she constantly spoke life into him, ensuring he was never afraid to step into his own power or stand out. Career bodyguard, you know what I'm saying? She was supporting him, legally accompanying him, teaching the griot tradition. Now this is all Jupiterian fifth house Capricornian type of shit right here. You know what I'm saying? It's really all encoded into his mother. But Chappelle himself, he said that, you feel me? He attributes his foundation, you know what I'm saying? His wisdom, his confidence, the strength of his being, and his ability to succeed to his mother. So that's Dave Chappelle's fourth house situation. And the last example I'm gonna do is none other than Will fucking Smith. I think this dude chart is like some type of baseline for Western astrology niggas, I guess. Which I'm not a Western astrology nigga, but to Eastern niggas, you know what I'm saying, I'm a Western astrology nigga. But again, let me stop saying the N-word. I'm an Irish, Taiwanese American, and I have no business using those types of words, right? So yeah, Will Smith, fourth lord, right? Fourth house situation. Mars is in the fourth house. That's one of the bad indicators, quote unquote. You don't really want to see that, but let's keep moving. Sun is the fourth lord. Sun is situated with K2 in the fifth house. Now, Jupiter's in the fourth house as well, which is great. But Mars in the fourth, Sun as the fourth lord with K2, that's going to be rough. That's malefic, you know what I'm saying? Plus it's in Virgo, you know what I'm saying? So that's going to give more of a malefic turnout. This does show the father is an excellent individual though. Like when it comes to handling one's business, when it comes to possibly statesmanship, or just the way that the father carries self, governs self, you know what I'm saying, his responsibilities, orders his life, lays down the law, governs his household and shit like that. The father, the father has a great reputation in that way. Sun being a fourth lord, it's in the fifth house, strong house, you know what I'm saying? And it's with K2 as well, as it shows the mastery, and it's in Virgo, right? It's the father could definitely like be a very sharp individual. The father career could definitely deal in some type of business of some sort, right? Some type of business management. Whatever the father does, the father can be excellent and shine at it and be very successful due to Sun being the fourth lord. So we can find comfort in the strength for the father and the ability for the father to handle the father's businesses and whatnot, right? And the father could have actually been a good support for Will Smith, succeeding or going to places that he went himself. But the problem is Mars is in the fourth, K2 is with the fourth lord. Mars is in the fourth, K2 being with the fourth lord, especially K2 is in Virgo with the fourth lord. It shows a lot of angst, abuse. It is something that since K2 is with the fourth lord, it can show that the father might have a split personality or a split character or an erratic character of some sort, right? Or the father can be kind of headless at times or whatnot. Malefic, right? Real toxic issue that's going on with the father possibly. Mars in the fourth, it can show when in the home, inability to really feel secure or like a person has the strength or the power. Can be some themes of abuse, being abused, witnessing abuse, you know what I'm saying? Insecurity within the home, anger, wrongfulness, you know what I'm saying? These types of themes or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? I look it up. You know what I'm saying? I look it up. I asked, did he get abused? I don't know why I can't scroll to the question, but it said yes. Will Smith grew up in a household impacted by domestic abuse. In his memoir, Will, he detailed how his father, Willard Carroll Smith Sr., was violent, right? Violent and prone to alcoholism, famously recalling a traumatic incident. You know what I'm saying? Violence, trauma. At age 9, when he watched his father punch his mother so hard she collapsed and spat blood. That's crazy. Witnessing violence, frequently watched his father abuse his mother and struggle with deep feelings of guilt and perceived cowardice for not intervening as a young child. And this is interesting right here. He described his father with heavy duality, noting that while his father was a source of deep trauma and pain, he was also dedicated, present for his career, and one of the most influential men in his life. So that's kind of the mixed nature that I was speaking to. You know what I'm saying? Like the father was excellent in some manner, but with the Mars being present there and with the sun being with K2, it does reflect a lot of trauma and a lot of pain that could be derived from the father as well. And you know what I'm saying? Ax was his dad an engineer. It could have been different careers for sure. You know what I'm saying? He could have been into the fucking law. You know what I'm saying? But it said yes. Will Smith's father, a nigga named Willard. Willard is crazy. Carroll Smith was a senior. Carroll Smith Sr. was a refrigeration engineer. Nigga was fucking building the beverage coolers and shit. Fuck. Military background, he initially served as a U.S. Air Force sergeant before transitioning into civilian labor. He worked at a steel mill, repeatedly passed over due to being a blackie. In his response, he started his own independent business. See, businessman, right? Design and install commercial refrigeration systems for supermarkets. That's what's up. Later in life, also worked as a music promoter. Yeah, exactly. Because it's fourth lord and it's in Virgo and it's with K2. So it really can point to a multiplicity of specialties. You know what I'm saying? That Virgo type of energy or whatever. It really can point to a person being skilled in various assets and being able to manage and juggle different things. He probably did more shit than they even speaking on for real. But yeah, like I said, he was a businessman on his shit or whatever. That's the last fourth lord example that I'm gonna do for right now. If I get anything that happens to come to me after I close this video, I list it in the chat. Y'all definitely can feel free, you feel me, to comment or, ask me about your fourth lord situation or what I think about this, that, and the third in the comments as well. And I'll respond when I can. But yeah, I appreciate anybody who happened to come across this video. Give me a like, subscribe, share, all that. Velocity.